To inform, we do have 3 library board appointments. Ms. Hernandez and Mrs. Sardi, your terms would wrap up this year. So you're more than welcome to reapply by submitting your applications to city secretary.
We'll be going to the city commission on the 5th.
Yeah.
So when's the deadline to reapply?
And anytime.
Anytime.
So sometime, even the last minute,
Yeah.
they accept.
Right.
And
December
again,
4th.
yeah, and again, the commissioners at their own.
Mhm.
In fact, Ms. Hernandez was she was approved, but even her name not being there. I do not take the commission decision, but it would be good if you attend, submit your application.
So is it open to others?
Yes.
And we already have 5 applications.
Yes.
I haven't seen it on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's open, yeah.
And so I guess she's walking.
Okay.
Ms. Lizardi, we were just talking about the library board appointments. This one would be applicable to you because your term is wrapping up at the end of the year. So if you would like to reapply, you can go ahead and resubmit your application with the city secretary.
Any further discussion on this service? Okay, discussion of Southmost Library gates.
Yes, good afternoon. This is more of a generic, what I want to talk to you about. It's more of having a more open feel of the library. But before that, I want to thank you for your support. As always, I think this board has been as the most accommodating, more understanding, and you know, I recently meet with the commissioners and they ask how the board members, they're very involved. So thank you for that. And I think that it's goes unnoticed the fact that we feel very comfortable being discussing our services and you guys are users of way, shape, or form, or ask questions. So you're an involved board, and that's what I relate to the commission. But thank you for what you do. Secondly, as you know, the main branch does not have a fence around it. And the Southmost, when it was built, soon after they was built, the foundation installed the library's perimeter fence along the gates. And so, for whatever reason, we can have all the ideas as to why they installed it, safety concerns, what have you. But now, we would like the opportunity to venture into having the gates open at night, so people can use. And this is just an idea. We're still not discussing. People can use the library services even when the library is closed. We are, as in a part of our work plan, we are going to have some seating areas outside, and eventually in the future, we're going to have a trail inside the perimeter, so people can use the Wi-Fi. They can sit down and do homework, you know, and what have you. And so one of the ideas is for now, because we can't do it fast enough, is to leave the gates open so people want to come in and sit down around the perimeter after we close. They can do Wi-Fi. As you know, we use the Wi-Fi as a utilization statistic, and people need it, especially in the Southmost area. Eventually, we may even remove the gates, not the perimeter fence, but leave the gate to people to have an open field. Eventually, if we do not remove the gates, we do want to have at least remove a panel of the fence so people can walk around it without the traffic passing by, so they can get run over. But the initial idea, pilot, if you will, is to have the library being used even after we close. And again, Wi-Fi, sitting down, relaxing, family thing. So it's just like the hours that were pilot and now it's preparation. What, and again, there's no action right now. What would be your first input on that?
I don't visit it like late at night, but I don't know what the lighting would look like.
The lighting, we have enough lighting. We're actually upgrading it to LED. There's enough lighting, especially on the sidewalks and around the building. Obviously, there's 8 acres. There's an area that there's no, there's nothing but.
But they have to be close to the building, not to get the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, they have to be close to the building anyways, yeah. Eventually, in the 2-3 years, speaking to Mr. Joel Garza from Montemoro, we already have a preliminary for the future to have a trail around the perimeter, but that's 2-3 years in the making. And so obviously with the trail will become lighting, but for now, lighting is only along the driveway and around the building and the parking lot, obviously. You know, the fence, it's aluminum, it's decorative, so people can jump the fence anyways,
Mhm.
you know, so.
I was gonna ask, was it ever a concern for security of the fence, or it was just there?
Unfortunately, and I can speak freely, I think the perception was that it's sophomores,
Mhm.
but that was what, 2005, 2006. But the reality is, and I've been here long enough to know there's been more theft, there's been more damage here than at South. But the perception is that, and it wasn't used with, when the library was built, it was not designed, but the foundation,
Mhm.
which now since has been defunct. They installed that fence, but the building itself has shutters.
Mhm.
So it's not gonna be an issue with that. We are gonna be installing cameras around the area. We have cameras now. But the main thing is provide more services here, because the libraries are modern now. Mentality is that you don't have to be in the building to use our services, so.
Okay.
Again, we're gonna be installing benches. As you come in, you see some benches here, and there'll be some benches over there. And people need Wi-Fi, especially with BTS coming, they're gonna need Wi-Fi to connect to the library, so. Again, it's just an idea. Yeah.
Forgive my ignorance, but I mean, is there, do we have an idea? Maybe here, for instance, that people are just outside using the Wi-Fi outside
Well,
work hours?
I do not have an idea because it's perimetered out.
Yeah.
But I do know, based on the sophomore analysis, the sophomore library had a higher percentage of Wi-Fi usage than the main branch.
But when you say in that, you can just tell that based on the internal metrics.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi, there's what points?
The point, part of the point.
Yeah, if I can just share a little bit, I was out at Rotary putting out our flags one evening for one of the events, because we put them out here at the park. And there were several people there at 5:30 in the morning when we arrived to put out the flags, and I did. Are they a part of it? No, they're just using Wi-Fi, and then they're gonna ensure that they did whatever they were gonna do, and they left.
Well, I guess I just being devil's advocate, I guess the concern would be, not a more, I guess, let me ask about security, like if this is something that's gonna be advertised, I mean, do there need to be like patrolling that area? Like, are we advertising that come by Southwest Library at nighttime if you need to use?
We're not gonna advertise it like we do, basically what we're doing here. We don't advertise it. It's just that the only difference is they have the perimeter fence here. People literally, I look at the cameras, people stay here all night. And you use the Wi-Fi.
I guess my concern is just
Same.
the
Sort of liability.
with driving
No, like-
through it, like cutting. Right, but I guess that comes with you taking care of yourself, right, but yeah, kind of like right here, right, that you can cross that street
Yeah,
to the other, but I
Yeah,
mean, that's.
it's no different like here. Basically, we want in the quality of
Mhm.
here, why is almost enclosed. There could be that's the words.
The perception.
Yeah. And so it's the same, just like people cross from what's like Korea to, it's the same concept. Now, in theory, because there's the other side of it, here's concrete where traffic can withstand the
weight.
The parking lot can, but over there it's asphalt. As you can see, the parking lot constantly have to be repaired. So in theory, I don't want to open, but I do want to open a walking community, if you will. But in the meantime, we want to try to see if it's actually worth removing the panels and putting sidewalks so people can walk and not walk through the grass. And again, right now, there's just discussion. As far as everything, as far as security, we're not liable. It's like here. This library has been open since 1994. There's always been open. There's no shutters here. There's shutters over there.
Well, but and sorry, maybe this is
No.
the defense attorney me asking this liability question. Well, because
That's what we're bringing this up.
if it comes, if it seems as if like, oh, there is a perception, yeah, you can come hang out at the library at nighttime if you need to use Wi-Fi, and then somebody were like attacked or something because there was, there's no security or anything, it's just people using Wi-Fi on a bench in the dark. I guess, you know what I mean? Like that would be, I guess, maybe one concern. Does there need to be, like go into the lighting, go into like, I mean, people coming at 2 a.m, like, you know what I mean? In addition to, I know sometimes there's a homeless gentleman who sleeps out here. Like, is that gonna be sort of something that we start seeing over there?
And that's the biggest thing
I do think they should be equal, though. I feel like if this one's open and people, If the homeless person can come sleep there and get Wi-Fi if he wants, then I don't see why
Yeah.
there's a gate at that one. So I do see the idea of opening it up.
I,
Have you surveyed the community?
I guess we want to do it thoroughly, if you will. And again, it's just a pilot, we can hold off and then maybe just remove the panel and just having a walking and not the cars. And it would eliminate the traffic and just people walking.
Maybe since we're a source of information, having where there is Wi-Fi connectivity, access, mapping it out. And then include when you feel comfortable enough with the library.
Because we are gonna be having as part of, I think, and maybe I haven't, we are gonna be having what's the name? No, it's
Pergola?
a pergola outside eventually. And by the end of the fiscal year, we should have it completed. So we are gonna be using it even sometimes after hours on certain events. So we're leaning towards that way. So as far as, and we might have some access points there too. Right, Courtney?
What would the pergola be for, what kind of events, like at
Story
night?
times, you wanna speak more on that, Courtney?
It would be for like.
Like during the day or after hours, like?
As much as we're open to the public and none, it would have additional seating outside so that you would be able to kind of sit and read on your own, as well as have like park features, little musical instruments, and other things, so you can sit and relax even when there's not an event happening. But we would be able to expand our outdoor events to have a shaded area that we would be able to set up for like exercise classes, outdoor cooking if we needed to, anything that's a little bit more mobile, because we've used a lot of events at our Southmost Library where we're kind of stuck to what our floor plan allows us internally. So we're looking for another way to extend our services in that.
And that area lends itself for that outdoor spacing, so that would be good.
But I mean, going back to a minute ago, can you repeat the question again, because I got lost.
Sorry, Lázaro.
Sorry,
Yeah.
just based off, earlier it was asked whether community had given input as to the gate. I have had like two patrons that have brought up the issue that at Maine, we do have the box outside for you to drop off your books and devices after hours. Whereas at Southmost, it's closed off, so they did bring that up a couple times. Because it was one of those things where they wanted to turn in the items, but it was after hours, so just to bring that.
No, and thank you for bringing that up, and honestly, I forgot to do that, in fact, we're just gonna put a new one, which is gonna be different, it'll be blue, but. So everything's more close to the building, you know, there could be a concern, but, you know, when are we gonna be ruled that?
If there is that issue as far as accessibility to dropping off the items, wouldn't that be still not in close proximity to the building? I mean, as far as the gate being open and they would have to, how?
Okay, the book drop is under the canopy,
Okay,
and so.
it's,
Leaving it open, they could drive up to
okay, got it.
drop it off.
Where if they not, you know, if the books are late, they're have to live to the following day, they can't turn them in overnight, what have you. Like they have here, and then going back to the equality, we're trying to do that plus utilization, and it's a tryout, and sometimes you just have to. Just try it.
The equality, I was putting a gate around here.
In fact, that got shut down.
Okay.
Like we're trying to have an open mentality, like come visit us instead of closing. In fact, we initially tried that, and I guess it's not even a discussion. No.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah. Basically. So. Again, it's just, right now, we just bring up ideas, but the really mentality is to provide more services to ourselves. That's.
Exactly, like,
Yeah.
I think all of us are expressing it's a good idea. Our concerns are safety for our patrons and for the building more than anything else, but the idea is wonderful.
Yeah, and again, there's camera, there's lighting, there's so much we can do. Because even, and I'll be honest with
Even
you.
the trails.
Yeah, and
there
exactly.
have any.
And I'll be honest with you, because I do monitor the cameras, people that jump it and use the Wi-Fi anyways.
I was gonna say, if somebody's gonna do something
Yeah.
bad, they're just gonna.
They jump it because it's very easy to jump. Well, not for me, but but they're very easy to jump. And honestly, there are limits, they can actually open it if you want. So,
Some fit underneath.
Underneath, yeah,
Ah,
kids going underneath.
and again,
For the Wi-Fi,
for the Wi-Fi,
they're sneaking into you.
For Wi-Fi.
yeah, Wi-Fi, yeah.
because that BTX is, the BTX fiber.
It's running to, it's running to the building too.
It's gonna run through there, but that is not gonna come into an effect, like, for them to have internet access.
Correct, and even with
Like soon,
BTS,
right? It's gonna
yeah,
take a while.
and even with that, Ms. Garza, some people still may not afford it.
Yeah, exactly, and it's free, so
Yeah,
if they can get it here, they should be able to get it over there.
Yes, and plus it's to be much fast, our Wi-Fi is much faster than the BTS, either way, because of the building. So again, the people have jumped it, and usually for just Wi-Fi utilization. Sometimes they just sit just sitting there and they're on the phone, and whatever they're doing.
That's beyond what you can control, but.
It's certainty, you know, that we can go a different way, but the mentality is just to provide a better service, having a welcoming for both buildings, utilization.
And other city libraries are open.
Yes.
I think closed.
Southwest is the only one that is they closed. And McAllen is open. There's no perimeter. Arlington, Los Fresnos. Prairie. I think we do need it in one way, shape or form, whether it's pedestrian, not no vehicles. But we want to move forward with that. Again, right now, we just discussion, we're gonna bring it up in December. We're going in January, not in December, January to have a plan in place where we can do it. But we're not gonna advertise it, we're just gonna do it if giving your blessing, if you will. But again, quality, utilization, and people need it. And I think they're gonna be appreciative of that, especially once we have furniture. And most of our furniture, it will be
Like single seats.
I think it's so where people cannot lay down.
Yes.
And that is, there's. I
If you do
don't wanna use the word,
divided,
yeah,
you
it's
need a
divided, but
bench,
it's not
then,
gonna
yeah.
be, I'm gonna get here and get comfortable, if you will, overnight. But basically, that was my discussion of this, just for you to ponder, again. Overall. I guess there's no discussion as far as doing it or not, but I personally, I think it's a great idea. And obviously, I think it's, your concerns are valid, but what about here? There's cameras, we're gonna get better cameras, better lighting.
Don't they have like, oh, I don't know how much it costs, right? But at the universities, don't they have like a pole there, like an emergency, you kind of hit. the
They have
button?
changed it over to apps now, so
Oh,
there was
okay.
very little usage and or pranks
It's
for that.
to be for, you know.
Oh, okay,
And
okay,
now they
okay.
do have an app that kind of allows for you to have that, like a safety walking buddy, an alert, stuff like that. So they have changed over to apps since
Oh,
that's
okay.
what everybody has. And as a university student, you have immediate access to the Wi-Fi, which unfortunately a lot of our patrons might not have it here.
Oh.
Yes.
For sure, let me give a scenario. Sometimes because one of the Manzano gate is electronically, it has a motor, and the time the darn thing fails. When that happens, we leave them open anyways, because we can't have one. And when that happens, I do have direct access to the Sergeant de Leon, and said, you know what, can you provide patrol? What we could do, we can tell you know what, from now on, we're gonna have and they can pass by more often than.
Yeah, I guess just
That's
the beginning days, right, just to monitor it, that way they can see police presence too, but I don't think it's more like of a damage thing, it's more like safety for the persons out there,
Yeah,
right? And because they'll send the teenagers on their own,
yeah.
right, if it's open, they're on their own, so.
And by the way, I mean, I guess the safety concern, it would apply equally here, I guess I never thought.
Yeah.
People were hanging out in libraries outside at nighttime here.
Yeah. Maybe
And
that's.
so if that's happening, well, then maybe people, there should be like patrolling, every now and again,
Yeah.
make sure the light's okay.
Yeah, and they do it here. In fact, sometimes I see it in the cameras that the police officers park. Yeah, so
In fact, there's.
so if we tell them, they can make, right now that they don't pass by there because they know that it's closed. When we tell them that it's gonna be open, then they're gonna make a more conscious effort, routine, if you will, to pass by there. Yes, ma'am.
For pergola, is there like I know there is like a 5-year, 10-year as far as the layout of the property, as far as how you foresee it in the future? Or is this pergola?
The pergola is as you come in from Southwest, you know, there's a gate to the right hand, there's like a tree, that area. What's the site? 50 by 20, what is it?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Right, 50 by 20. It doesn't affect, I thought you were going, you were gonna expand Southwest. We're gonna do a CAP, a certain part of it, make space. But as far as expanding the Southwest, no, it's not in the near future. We're probably gonna use more of the perimeter for make more parking for special events and trail. But the pergola, it's way up from the building, yeah, but it's in the entrance of Southfield. As you come in, before you get you to the right. It's gonna be an awesome.
Possible by CDBG funding. So we went for grant funding to be able to work on this project. So hopefully we'll be able to see the.
100 and what, Courtney, how much is it?
We got 150 by the grant and we're putting in 27,000.
Any questions?
Okay, it's gonna be none. Thanks for that discussion. Library reports, adult services.
Okay, so Ms. Bertha and Jose, adult librarians were not here. They're at a program at Southmost.
For adults.
For adults. So I'm gonna go ahead and present for them. So for October 2023, they did have several programs, which was a breast cancer awareness talk. And they received for both branches 53 total. For the food and nutrition education program, they didn't put these in order for me. I don't have a number for that. Okay, I don't have a number, but I will get it later. And then the book talk with coffee, they did have a total of 27 total for both branches. So as you see here, we did have the lady for the food and nutrition education program. I know both I mentioned last time, we're working on trying to get to partner with them for another additional program. And then we did have, so adults did have several October activities, which was a skeleton reads, which they also voted, promoted book, and took many pictures with the skeleton. So I know Ms. Bertha did provide me with the number, which was with a total of 15 or more people were the ones that were, they would pass by and they would see the skeleton and they would take pictures of. And then they did have the adult movie night for together. They did have 95 attendees. And then for the Erie Mike night, they had a total of 20. And then they also as well, I know Ms. Bertha has mentioned before, that's something that she has here, which is puzzles. So I know people have been continuously been working on it. They see it and they ask us like, oh, can I just sit down and do it? And it's open for the public. So that is still going on. And then, of course, the adult computer classes, which I do believe they're gonna end this November, and then restart January, right? So now they take a break. And so they do have a total of 80 for both branches. And then, let me see. So they do, and then on Halloween, students tested. So they do take North Star for as part of the computer classes. They are able to take North Star digital literacy and LinkedIn learning. So on Halloween, students tested and 3 got certificates for achieving more than 85% accuracy on their basic computer skills. So that's just something that you want to.
I have a question about that. Does the library have access to ancestry.com or newspaper archives?
Yeah, so there are databases that we do have, and that they're able to access.
From
it.
the library computers?
Yes.
Okay. Is that remote? Computer here.
And how-
There's certain ones that
Okay.
they're able to access, from home, but mainly these are for.
And just in that computer lab, just.
And it was,
Anywhere
I think we're
on
Oh, I-
like as long as you're in the building, it'll pick it up.
Oh, sorry.
Or that's wrong here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in the parking lot.
Basically, it pinpoints that
Yeah.
wire the spot as being part of the library, so you can access it.
Connected.
that was funny.
And then that was pretty much it. Any questions? I could maybe enter.
You made it.
Thank you for that report. Youth services.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kayla. I'll be presenting on youth services. So in October, we had our trunk or treat event that was hugely successful. We had 22 organizations present handing out candy. So it was 22 organizations plus six different like staff vehicles that we had parked out there as well. So all in all, we had about 30 stops for the patrons to get through to get candy. It's really hard to know what the exact number was, but it was over 2,000. So it was quite a bit of people. My 4 volunteers, their thumbs were getting really sore and they could not break focus because it was just coming and coming and coming. So it was really cool. Staff had a lot of fun. Everyone went all out in decorating their vehicles. So that was really cool to see them get involved like that.
Fantastic event.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And sorry, and speaking of sophomores, the whole almost the 90% of the 8 acres was filled up with parking lot. Even I actually helped parking the car in the back of the library and the grass and everything. Sorry, Kate.
No, you're fine. Thank you for mentioning that. So yeah, it was really cool. It was really exciting. Everybody was dressed up in costume. So we had a lot of fun with
It's a
that.
huge turnout, right, because of the weather?
Yeah.
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 It wasn't cold then, right?
It wasn't cold. It was icy, but it was still
Okay, then-
Nice and icy,
yeah. But it was really fun. On the bottom right, that's Miss Panchita. She's one of our maintenance workers there. So she was in attendance with her grandkids. So it was really neat to see like everyone coming out. So.
Any, after a big event, I always like that. Any lessons learned, anything you do different next year or the same?
Lessons learned would be parking.
We need more people parking attendants.
We need more parking attendants. That would be one.
Best.
Yes.
By that, you mean like to kind of just direct parking?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Juan
to minimize-
was doing really well, but it was basically just him and Brenda on their own. We did have security there, but they weren't.
Just the lights are on, yeah.
Yeah. They weren't doing their best.
Maybe we can get some of the service organizations involved with the parking.
But yeah, that would be a good idea. Let me.
That way we can maximize the amount, because sometimes they will park very
Some of
far.
the service organizations would be willing to help.
Yeah, just as an idea, I mean, because I know like if everyone's on, if they're going out to Big Red, for instance, there's
Yeah.
huge acreage to park.
Yeah.
And there are parking attendants telling you exactly where to park, close,
Yeah.
park here, park there, and they squeeze it all in.
Yeah.
That space.
Yeah, that's exactly what we need. Also went out to their pumpkin patch and they had the T-bars with like the ropes creating the different rows. And I was like, I put that in my brain for later because I was like, that might be a good way to kind of do it in the future, to kind of map it out so we know exactly. So that was a big lesson learned. I think another one would be, for me personally, is have an extra runner because I was the one going back and forth refilling all the candies and stuff. So it got pretty exhausting by the end of the night. But otherwise, all of our patrons were super happy. We didn't have like any major incidents or complaints. So it was a really successful night overall.
It was really a fun event.
Yeah.
Thanks to all of you, because I saw nice to be running around, not standing around at all. So, yeah, thanks for that.
Thank you. Slide please. So October didn't really end there. We had our spooky STEM night, which we had a really good turnout at both branches. That's the one where we had 4 different activities for the kids to participate in and for Halloween. We had our eclipse boxes, which was the the runner-up to the Eclipse event itself. They got to make the boxes where they could observe the eclipse safely. We also had a presenter from STARS come in and do an activity with them, so that was a really great night. We had toddler play date, which is continuing to be successful. And then for one of our story times, we had a guest author. Her name is Nancy Guevara, and she wrote the book De Donde Soy. And it's a book that celebrates being bilingual and it celebrates life on the border. So the kids really enjoyed her. That's the picture from Southmost. She was also at the main branch in the morning and she had a really good turnout there. So, and then she donated some of her books to be added to the collection, which will be hopefully added soon. They're over with our technical services department.
No pressure, Lisa.
So for November, we're keeping it a little simple this month just because we have a lot of closure dates with the holidays. So but we will have kids night. We're gonna do a little simple DIY paper plate wreath. We're just gonna do some finger painting with autumn colors. We'll have our toddler play date and then we'll have our stories and snacks every Wednesday. And then on the next slide, the big one, teen services, no. Christmas. So this is, as you guys probably know, this is a pretty big event for the library every year. This year is Level Up Christmas, so the theme is video games. It is pretty much going to be about 8 days of programming. The first week will be at the Southmost branch, and then the second week will be at the main branch. Starting on Monday, will be retro night. So we will have the inflatables, the trail of lights, all of that set up outdoors for patrons just to come and like take pictures. But what's going to make that one retro night is we are going to have a giant arcade. So for Trunk or Treat, we bought a 20-foot inflatable screen to show movies outdoors. We're going to use that to play video games. So we're going to connect it to the Switch, and we have some arcade games. So we are going to promote that. On Tuesday, the theme is Pokemon. So we have many of our staff working on some life-size Pokemon figures. You've probably seen them out there. We've got a Pikachu that's about this tall. We have a Bulbasaur that is huge. And then we have someone, actually B, is going to be wearing the Pikachu costume. So she's going to be going around taking pictures with the patrons. So we're going to do a whole set for that. The Wednesday is Pictures with Santa. So that is the big one. We will of course have Santa Claus. The set is going to be Super Mario Brothers themed because that movie came out this year and it continues to be insanely popular. So we are going to do that. We're going to have, similar to Trunk or Treat, where we had a bunch of different games for the kids to play. So they'll have all these different games. They'll win prizes. They're going to get their giveaways, which is going to be their bag with a toy, candy, a book. So they'll get that. We'll have hot chocolate and cookies outside at the trail. So it'll be a big affair for us. And then on Thursday, we started this last year. We have our Santa Sensory Hour. So that'll be the opportunity for those with special sensory needs to come take their picture in a much calmer environment. There won't be music. There won't be so much chaos. The way that works is that the kids get to we might have some of the games up, but usually they work on a craft at one of the tables while they wait for their turn to take a picture with Santa, so that it's a lot calmer for them and they don't have to be standing in line with a bunch of other screaming kids. And then something that we're starting this year, I'm calling it Santa Paws. And we are going to try and have pet photos with Santa. So that's a new one. I have no idea how it's going to go. I'll let you know. But basically, we're inviting people to bring their pets to take a picture with Santa. So we're working out the logistics for that. I also have reached out to Bark to see if they would like to partner with us on that one. So we're hoping for.
So be outside though?
Yeah. So we're figuring out a way to keep the line outside and maybe having them come in one at a time with their pet. And then the rules will be like keep them on a leash or, crate if they're small, however it needs to work out that way. But that's it.
That's a good addition.
On your sensory night, sensory night, are you going to, do you have anyone partnering up with you or have you
Not yet.
Down by the board.
down by the border?
Downs by the border, let me write that down, because I have been.
Yeah,
thinking
Mr.
about that.
Sergio Zarate is the executive director or founder.
They've been partnering with like BISD, for instance, for doing.
Yeah, they partner with the ISD for Special Olympics and everything else. It would be good PR for us and good for them too, because those are the sensory
Mhm.
children.
Yeah, okay, I will.
They would do a lot of the marketing for you, just.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
All right, so it's my turn. So we're keeping the spooky theme, for teen services. This last month, we had a few events. These are active events. We also had some passive events that were not listed, due to the timing of things. So, for our events, we had a teen night comic exploration in which we had a STARS volunteer come in to create a comic with us in each branch and location. So they did a presentation, and they had an interactive activity where we made one giant comet with household ingredients, and then we all just took pictures, and then there were some other smaller activities. Again, it was wonderful and it was complete. It was very STARS heavy, so we're really thankful for them to have made time in their schedule to come in and to do this for our teams. So we had a huge turnout for that one, and everyone was really happy and excited. As always, we have our teen anime night. This last month, we had our candy tasting. So this is where we started our passive events for Teen Read Week. So the month of October is Teentober, but we took 1 week where we kind of promoted a lot of our YA books. On our teen anime night, since it's one of our heavier, or one of our more popular events, we started bringing out YA books, graphic novels, as well as novels. And we did have a really good turnout for the candy tasting. The movie was really fun, but we also had a lot of checkouts. We had 8 checkouts total here in Maine, and we had, I think, 6 in Southmost, which is amazing. And then we had our teen advisory on Halloween, and as you can see, we had our ghost painting, and we had a few other pictures taken. We had slightly less of a turnout because it was Halloween, but we still had a few people come in, as well as a lot of newcomers for that one. For our Teen Read Week, we also had a display near the front. You may have seen it with some information, and we constantly rotated our books. We also had pretty good checkouts for that, and then we also had our book tasting, which we also had a couple of checkouts for that as well. So all in all, really, really good events. We also had our teen cosplay contest at the Southmost Trunk or Treat. These are our winners. We had Princess Peach at the top, Doodle Bob, and then the clown from It. So these are our teen winners. And then coming soon, we just had our teen night, our writing edition. We had an author go ahead and come in and do a presentation, as well as a guest speaker from UTRGV from the creative writing department. And was only able to attend Maine, but they did have the author presentation, a small reading of a chapter of the book that is already in our collection. It's a local author from Westlaco. And then the UTRGV professor came in and made a mini presentation slash class regarding creative writing, poetry, and it was very interactive. The kids had a lot of fun. As always, we have a reference for teens, the 2nd and 3rd Saturday of every month. And then coming up soon at the end of this month, we're going to have our Teen Anime Club, which is going to be over the garden wall themed. And our Teen Advisory Club is going to happen on the same day. So if you have your teens, come for the Teen Anime Club, and then we will shoot the adults and the youngsters, and then we'll just hang out with our teens at the end. And that is it. Any questions? This is one of our attendees for our Halloween event.
Thank you.
First.
Maker Space.
Hey guys, my name's Lázaro. I apologize for face mask. I don't want to get anybody sick. So our first event that took place during October, we had patrons test their STEM making skills, as we love to torture. They were tasked with filling up the cups with some marshmallows on the inside, and then they were supposed to create a landing base. You would release it, and then if it landed the right side up, successful. If it spilled your Martians, they died. Total attendance, Maine had 51 people in attendance, Southmost had 13 people. Pretty successful, a lot of kids had fun. The young boy on the top left actually made 2 different designs because he didn't like the results he got with the first one, so he wanted to start over and try again, and he got it done the second time. So very fun, they all enjoyed it and got to take some prizes home. So that first one was for space themed for the eclipse that was coming up. This one was Halloween themed. They were to make their own launchers using popsicle sticks and rubber bands. And this one was a little bit more of just for fun. So they would pair up with somebody else and they would try to launch the pumpkins at each other to try to land it in the mouth. And the advice that was given was cover your eyes if you're getting the pumpkin launched at you so we don't have any injuries. So it was fun. They had plenty of fun, and even the parents were like, okay, now it's my turn to try to catch the pumpkin. Attendance at Maine was 42, Southmont had 21 people in attendance. Exploration Theater, we've continued to do this on a monthly basis. I had 9 people in attendance at Southmost. At Maine, I believe we didn't do it as Anthony was working weekends. And he was preparing for the big event that was the eclipse on Saturday. We also continue to do our Mario Maker and VR days. At Maine, he's getting 17 people, and at Southmost, we had 7 people in attendance. We also did get our brand new laser. This was the last of the items that we were pending for our CDBG grant. Along with the event that took place earlier this month where we did the laser engraved cutting boards. We have completed all promises that we made to external people. So we got some new equipment, completed all our events, and have this available to our patrons now. The working area for that laser is a 36-inch by 48-inch cutting surface. So if you have any material that wants to go in there, bring it in and we'll get it in.
Pretty big.
Pretty big, yeah, it's 3 feet by 4 feet, and if we go outside, it's right here by the exit to the courtyard, and yeah, it's a big machine, but considering the size, it doesn't make a lot of noise, especially when compared to the Glowforge.
Has anyone used it yet, or?
Yes, gentleman at Southmost, he does custom designs, yeah, and he made a cutting board for one of his clients using our laser engraver, and it came out really good. And it was good that he came in because he came in the day before our event, so we were able to fine tune all the kinks on the machine before the day of our event. And he came in at 10 o'clock and left at 6:30 because I left at 6:30. Otherwise, we would have been there all night long.
Cutting board, or is it 6 hours?
No. We were there messing with the settings and learning different tips, techniques.
Okay. Just let
For him to use in the future and for me to use in the future as well. So we were in
together.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. Any questions?
I just that I know sometimes you have models of what's created. Do you take pictures of maybe the creations? I'm trying to think of maybe the more unique ones, how you can have a display of what people are using.
Yeah, so we've been working on trying to do more models and samples for internal use. So we've been working on that. We haven't been posting photos too much because if we start posting a lot of our stuff, then that'll take from, like, if I post it on a Tuesday, that could interfere with one of their events. So it would be or if I post it on a Monday, it could push down the post for my event coming up. We tried that in the past and it started affecting.
Well, I guess not even posting, I mean online, just in the libraries.
But displays, yeah, we're working better on getting displays, yeah.
They have the display case here for their incoming projects that are being paid for. And then they are also really good about getting, each time we get new equipment to print base models for us to take to outreach so that we can display them there.
I always want to take those 3D prints. I'm like, you can have a toy, and they're like, I can have this. I'm like, no, you can have this squishy, but you can't have a 3D print.
Thank you.
Um,
Outreach.
My name is Courtney Taylor. I'm the Library Services Coordinator and I'm presenting on outreach. Next slide, please. So a lot of our beginnings of outreach this month were our main outreaches that we continuously do. So at B Metro, we went twice and there were teams that were curious about programming, including our Halloween events for trunk or treat and volunteer opportunities through our teen council and club. When we went to the consulate, we did have a new question about whether or not we can do more musician events here at the library. We brought this idea over to our adult services to see if they're willing to try again for that type of musical performance programming. And then we joined Burns Elementary's Lights Out After School, where they promoted trunk or treat in our gaming areas. Southmost has, where they're able to check out the Switch and everything. Next slide, please. We joined at the zoo with Viva TV, Get Up and Get Moving. This is one of our bigger events, and at one point in time, when Mr. Guetta came to double check on us, there was a
I did not.
across.
I did not.
And we were unable to see and or hear him. So he went to one of the exhibits and went onto their walkway to take pictures from above. It slowed down a little bit after 11:30, closer to 12 when the event was starting to end. So what we ended up doing is pivoting so that we were doing readings to the children that were still there coming in the afternoon. We helped Brownsville PD with their spectacular Halloween bash. We gave out pretzels and informational packets. A lot of the patrons were happy to see us at the sports park and being inclusive with PD. And then we went to the Driscoll Spectacular Halloween Safety Bash. They also got readings in between, and we promoted increased safety databases as well as safely trunk or treating with our patronages. Next slide, please. These are both of our inReaches. As Katie and Kayla mentioned, trunk or treat was huge. At our table alone, we had over 1,480 people. And that was just at our informational table. We gave out some glasses to the adult patrons that had the Brownsville logo on them so that the adults could get a little bit more than candy this year while they brought their children through. And then for the solar eclipse, Miss Lisa manned the table where we did additional raffles. And we were talking about our databases for that event, just at our table, not the overall event. We had 1,724 patrons. Our outreach numbers for this month hit 5,167, not including our inReach, which took us to about mid-February last year when we're comparing them. Next slide, please. Just to talk a little bit more about the solar eclipse event, we had over 14 organizations there to help talk about the eclipse. We gave out eclipse glasses there at the center of our library, where we did require them to come in and see us to get glasses, and they had to be present. You got to see inside the observatory, which is the picture on the right. And then we had different organizations such as the STARS events doing different programs throughout the day. They had where they were moving different solar systems, we showed on the TVs the solar eclipse as well. And then for the majority of the event, because there was cloud cover, all of us were kind of sneaking in between trying to get the results of the eclipse.
Real fun part was where when the clouds parted, you could hear everybody just clap and like clouds parted, you could hear
Yeah, similar to a trunk or treat, our number was about over 2,000. So that was pretty great event. Very busy. Perfect, yeah.
Any questions, queries, concerns?
I'm gonna add on this one, as I think I've said before, along with the wonderful staff that we have, to provide awesome services to the citizens of Brownsville. It's a very clear indication, especially after COVID, that the outreach purpose that we had in creating Courtney's position, staff going, that's a clear indication that it's working because of the attendance. We're basically back to pre-COVID numbers. As you come in, you see it's busy, so it's a direct correlation with what the staff is doing as far as the outreach of purpose, mentality of outreach, and also when they come in, we don't disappoint the people, the staff, the makerspace, the team, the youth. So we're talking the talk and we're walking the walk, but it's because of the purposeful mentality of outreach and not assuming that patrons know what we have to offer. We have to go to them because the mountain will come to us. And we're gonna continue doing that until it proves otherwise, if not, we'll just pivot. But we cannot assume that 190,000, 200 people that live here in Brownsville and surrounding areas, we cannot assume or be pretentious that they know what we have. We have to constantly be informing them because we are constantly changing. We are now more than ever, we're trying programs and they work out. No big deal. Let's move on. Let's try something else. Whereas before we were very calculating, and it was good, but it was very limited programming. I think we have a lot of programs. Some work good, and some don't work. Next, and it's because we have to be relevant to the community. And again, this wouldn't happen because it wasn't for our staff, and not here, but after Thanksgiving, we're going to have cafe services back. So that's even going to be the cherry on top of the cake. No,
After Thanksgiving, like the full cafe, or
not from us, from Sevens and Park will be the company that will be providing services at both cafes. So that's going to be. I think that's going to.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
They're also at the airport too.
That's correct. But we have more transactions, so we have more utilization, because of the amount of flight, but we tighten you.
I just want to say thank you to all of you for all that you do. You go above and beyond because I see all of you really taking part and working hard on all the activities that you offer our patrons. And just thank you for all your work and all your efforts and getting the word out to the public, because that's what we need to do to offer and for them to know the services that we have to offer. Thank you for your work.
And thank you for your
support. Thank you.
Friends of the library.
On that note.
We have good news.
Hi, I'm Bobby. I'm president of the Friends of the Library. We're still working on getting more people here, but we are at Main Branch. We have been open almost the same hours as the library. We close an hour earlier, but the patrons have noticed that we are open more. And I've done reorganization at both branches. So it's set up a little bit differently, trying to get more of the young adult and the kids better organized than what it was. So if you get a chance to pop in, please, there's lots of new changes, and I'm still working to fill them in and even out both branches. We have been partnering when there's events at Southmost to try to make sure we are open at least those, because I do have fewer volunteers for that side, but we were there for the eclipse. Unfortunately, I wasn't unable to make it for the trunk or treat, but with the eclipse, we did see quite a few people come in. And as I've gone over there to do reorganization, I've opened it up and allowed people in, and we've had quite a few more people gaining interest on that side of town. Today we are partnering with the library. They're having the coffee talk, correct? And the Feast of Giving. So we're partnering with them, have both branches open, and from 6 to 8, everything is buy one, get one free for the patrons. So we're encouraging to try to give to someone you know. We are also doing the same thing next week with both locations. And then we will be open the Saturday after Thanksgiving as well at Southmost. So we're trying to get where, when we know there's gonna be an increase in patrons, where we can have the accessibility over there. We have been doing well and getting lots of donations so that we're able to help in the youth services when they need it. And I mean, last month we did over $1,300 of donations from people, of purchases. So I'm very proud of my stuff that we have right now, and we're just hoping to get some more volunteers in.
And just like with Courtney, as part of the outreach, leading the outreach is just not Courtney, but the whole staff, she's head of it. I think there's another coordination with Bobby. Bobby is literally, I don't know how you find the time to be part of the Friends, because that was another struggle to bring friends back after COVID, to come to volunteer, obviously. And even I remember discussed, we actually have a memorandum of understanding where at Southmost, where we have a hard problem getting volunteers. And after we do a big event, we are able to assist with staffing to man the Southmost Friends when there's a need. So that would help the utilization of the Southmost Friends of the Library. At the main, I think we take care of itself for the most part, but Southmost, we constantly had, for years, we had struggle to get volunteers over there. So we do have a MOU with the library and the Friends, so we can at least staff it where people could come in when
Make their selections.
Yeah, so we haven't had to use it yet, but it is there. So we can have, again, going back to the same amount of operations that's awesome. So and obviously it benefits the library, because all of the candy, all the things that
all of it comes back to the library.
And the Friends are gracious enough every year to always give us some money. And Bobby, you're I don't know how you do it. I just don't know how you do it. You're everywhere.
Like everybody else, so that speaks great, because I've attended several events and they're large events for more staff needed, right? But it gets done, so it just means that you're working at more than 100%. And
Absolutely.
and the patrons, you can see they're enjoying their time, and that's what fulfills, right? All that work that you do, seeing the families attending and excited about going to the library. They're like going to the library.
Yeah, and perhaps I'm gonna put you on the spot with that stuff, but have you been to the Harlingen Library? Can you compare?
It's very different, very different. When I saw the position
Same
of
size, by the way,
the
same
maker space, when it first, came out, I thought that was gonna be like an excellent component to the library, because maker space is
And
right now, like that's what all the libraries.
and that's one of the things that we're gonna be working for the future. We are gonna have to be asking for more makerspace staff. I don't know how the budget's gonna come up, but we need more makerspace, because Anthony and Nazaro cannot do it by themselves. It's too much.
And even the space, right? Like the space that you have, you're making it work, but it's a very small space for what you make. Entails.
That's a good problem to have, right?
Yes, it's a good problem to have. Definitely, I mean, that's what all the kids, like when you say you stay relevant, that's what all the kids like, all that makerspace.
Any other comments? Thank you all again for all the work that you all do. We need a motion to adjourn.
I motion to adjourn.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
For getting with me.
Yeah.